Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. I just saw Star Trek Picard, and now it's time for me to give you my first impressions. Wait a minute, first impressions? That means it's time for a car time video. Beam me up, Alex Kurtzman, you stupid bastard!
Hey, that's better. Thanks, jabroni. Hey gang, I'm JP and welcome back to Egotastic FunTime. I just watched Star Trek Picard. It finally has come to the time where we get to see this damn thing that CBS has been spouting about how great it's gonna be and you're gonna love it. Some of us are getting subscription fatigue. We've seen all the trailers, seen all the teasers. I've been talking about Star Trek Picard and making predictions about it and observations about it for months upon months upon months. It feels like years. And last night I stayed up late to watch this thing. Those of you who've been following my channel for a while know that I cannot stand CBS, and I think they should have to pay for what they have done. I've been cautiously optimistic for this Picard series because it has, Patrick Stewart's not going to let us down, I don't think. It seems like they hired some better writers than they did for the Discovery, and hopefully CBS has learned their lesson from their many mistakes with Star Trek Discovery and the way they've handled the fandom and the franchise thus far. But it is CBS after all. So after watching this Picard series, the first episode, Remembrance, right now all I can say is that I absolutely loved it. It was amazing. CBS, those bastards, were actually able to put this together correctly, at least as far as this first episode goes, and I was so correct on so many theories, you guys, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Spoilers upon spoilers upon spoilers, son. Michael Chabon, congratulations, you actually did it. You're a Pulitzer Prize winning writer. Thank goodness they decided to go the route of someone who's actually written something that's thoughtful and considerate of the characters, because that is what you have done. Hanale Culpepper directing, it was so nice. They put so much care, so much thought, the way they handled it. They took their time, yet things really kicked off a lot quicker than I thought. We learned a lot more than I expected, though while there were some very exciting moments in this first episode, they took their time. They took care to let the viewers see what Picard is going through right now, where he is in his part, in this stage in his life, why he left Starfleet. It turns out during this huge rescue armada where Starfleet and Picard heading this armada, it was Picard's idea to help the Romulans, and he convinced Starfleet to help the Romulans try to save as many as they could from this supernova. Geordi was building this huge armada on Utopia Planitia on Mars. The worst thing happened. They were relocating Romulans all over the place, and the most horrible thing happened. Synths, basically androids, rogue androids, which I guess were a thing in the 2380s, thanks to Bruce Maddox, which I predicted. Bruce Maddox from The Measure of a Man. He is a big deal. He has a lot to do with this story, just like I said he would. This whole story kicks off because of Bruce Maddox and his attempt back in season 2 of TNG to use Data to create more Datas, and Data said no. And Captain Picard put on that trial and fought for Data's rights, and he won. He even changed Bruce Maddox douchebagginess. He had one of those I learned something today moments in that episode. But the rescue armada is doing its thing. The ships are being built, and then rogue synths attack Utopia Planitia. Nobody knows why. They put down the security. They destroyed Utopia Planitia. They attacked Mars. Over 92,000 people were killed, and it ignited stratosphere, or the gases in the stratosphere, and Mars is still on fire today, 10 years later. This caused Starfleet to not only abandon the Romulan rescue mission, which goes against their what Picard felt Starfleet should be. We all felt Starfleet should be. They abandoned that. They completely banned. It is illegal to make synths. All synths of any type, all androids of any type have been banned for 10 years. He resigned being a part of Starfleet out of protest. They're not evil, Starfleet. They just made a decision because of something that happened. Still has a very utopian feel to it. I'm very happy to say it's not gritty, dark, JJ Trek at all. This is not filmed in the same style. This is more, there was a lot of moments where I felt like I was watching this really nice, thoughtful, Downton Abbey, BBC type series in certain moments where they're really taking their time to let us know what's going on. And there were so many surprises. First off, let's just say this right off the bat. The first 30 seconds of this damn series, Picard series, episode Remembrance, starts off in a way where the Trekkie in you instantly falls in love. You are like, oh my God, oh, I'm in the TNG world. I'm in the TNG universe, the 1701-D. It starts off a little whimsical, a little nice. The song Blue Skies, this time it sounded like a Dean Martin recording is playing. So I will say, I'm going to call it out right now, but I think this was the right choice and I think it was appropriate. It started off like an episode of the Orville, some of that classic standards playing space, the 1701-D is there, and then we zoom in through a window into 10 forward where Picard and Data are playing cards, where a really nice moment between Data and Picard, even though it was all just a dream. Picard is having lots of dreams of the past. He regrets his life right now, where it's gone. He is not the same man he was before, but he is the same man he was before, but he's lost everything. He's lost the confidence in himself. It's alluded to in this episode that he was shattered, and he's trying to pick up the pieces. Dodge shows up, and Dodge is similar to what we thought, but also very different to what we thought. A lot of people way back were saying, Dodge is Lal, Data's daughter. You are wrong, but you're not that far off from being right. It's actually much more complicated than that, and I'm going to spoil it for you. A lot of people said, I said this. She's the Borg queen. She's the next in line to be the Borg queen. I was wrong, but I wasn't that far off from being right, because I'm very much predicting, because it turns out that Dodge is a synthetic with flesh and blood that was created by Bruce Maddox in secret, top secret, because after the ban of synthetics, 10 years prior, he left the field and he disappeared, probably to go off and do his own Dr. Noonien Soon type research in secret. Apparently, he created a lifelike flesh and blood sentient synthetic. That synthetic is Dodge. Dodge didn't know she's synthetic. She was activated all of a sudden when some Romulan soldiers, probably Tal Shiars, come in to try and take her. And it looks like the Romulans know what Dodge is, and they're trying to get her. Many of you predicted that Dodge was going to be the central focus of this show. This series has proven in this first episode that Picard is the star. Spoiler alert. There is no Dodge. Dodge was killed at the end of this episode, and she's not coming back. But it turns out when you make these synths, they are made in pairs. We find out from Dr. Jumati, played by Alison Pill, who will be, of course, learning more about later in the season. She's the only person of the new crew that we've met so far. We learned there's another one somewhere, and that other one also does not know that she is synthetic. She has not been activated as of yet, and she's working over on the Romulan Borg cube. I have to go back and look. I think she might be a therapist. Harry Treadaway's Romulan character, who I know is supposed to be a bad guy, but he's just so cute and he looks like a little cartoon rabbit, and I want to pinch his cheeks, even though he's supposed to be a bad guy. But I can't believe it, you guys. I watched it twice. I'm so blown away. Patrick Stewart, you are the man. Patrick Stewart made sure when he signed on, he says, I'm not coming back unless we're doing something new, which they did do something new. And as long as they pay respect to everything that came before, and there was so much stuff, even though it is done in a different way, but it's done in a way that I think is incredibly appropriate, incredibly caring of who Picard is and all the characters and the fandom. But it's not dark, gritty Discovery Starfleet. This is just, they made some decisions, they passed some rules because of the situation, things that went on. Picard disagrees with what they did, but other people I'm sure will agree with what they did. Picard doesn't care about human lives or Romulan lives or sexy Orion girl lives, even though I really care about sexy Orion girl lives. He cares about lives. With everything I've seen so far with this Picard series, now that I've actually seen an episode, I'm completely on board. I teared up a few times. It's very emotional. You're really getting into Picard's headspace. You see how important Data was to him, the legacy of Data, and Daj, she is a little piece of that legacy, of Data's legacy. There's a little bit of Data inside of her. Turns out B4, like I said, was an idiot. I predicted that B4 is inferior copy, which they totally said in this series that he's an inferior copy. Data's memories were mostly lost. It's like trying to upload the cloud into a Commodore 64. It's just not going to work. Lots of legit Star Trek scenery in this series so far. Lots of stuff that is 100% Star Trek. There's a hopefulness to this series. And after watching the first episode, go back and watch the theme song at the beginning and the theme and all the visuals on there. You will see that the theme and the music, which I thought was amazing, it was a little bit magical, a little bit whimsical, but also it sounded important, but it also sounded thoughtful. You will see that all the visuals you see totally make sense. Picard is shattered. He's putting himself back together. Diamond Things kind of split off into two. Those, of course, represents Daj and her sister, and then that kind of grows into a DNA pattern. You also get to see the destruction of Romulus in that. It's a beautiful theme. I said what I think. It's only fair that you get to say what you think by joining the conversation below. I'll see you very soon, and as always, I hope all your times are egotastic fun times. Love you. Bye-bye.
Egotastic fun time, we're gonna have a great time. Egotastic fun time, give me all your money. Give him all your money. You will find it funny. Just give me money. I love money. Give me all your money. Give me all your money. Give me all your money.